Hello everyone, bienvenidos, welcome. In this video we are going to continue practicing with the preterite of regular verbs in Spanish. It's a continuation of the previous video in the series. Remember, I always suggest that you know two things when it comes to verb conjugation. Be sure you know how to conjugate the verb. In other words, what are the mechanics of that conjugation? How do you physically manipulate the form to get the right form in the preterite? And the second thing is, when you have a verb conjugated in the preterite, you have to know what it means. For example, when you translate it to English, what does it mean? And we're going to talk about both of those. First things first, you have to memorize the preterite verb endings. There's no way around it. Native speakers memorize it just through practice. So be sure you memorize your forms. Once you do that, then you're ready to go. Okay, so knowing these preterite verb endings, we can look at the first thing that I suggest you know, and that is the mechanics of the conjugation. It's very simple. It's a three-step process. In the case of the preterite, you start with your infinitive, number one. To get to number two, which is your root, you just remove the AR, ER, or IR ending from the infinitive. So you remove the ending from the infinitive to find your root. That is step two. You have your infinitive. And then the third step is you just think about your subject, and if you've memorized those endings, you just use the ending that corresponds to the subject that you've chosen. So if you pick yo, you should have memorized from this chart that the ending for yo for an AR is the E with the accent mark. If it's an ER or an IR, it's the I with the accent mark. So this is the ending I need for this particular verb, and I just add it to the root. So I add that E with the accent mark to the root, and I get yo hablé. Remember that the preterite is equivalent to the simple past in English to talk about things that you did. So yo hablé means I spoke. Okay, vamos a practicar. Let's practice. So, trabajar, to work. How do you say I worked? ¿Cómo se dice I worked? Trabajé. Yo trabajé o simplemente trabajé. Trabajé. She worked. ¿Cómo se dice she worked? This is the standard type of activity you'll find in college textbooks where you have a subject pronoun and an infinitive and you have to conjugate it. So she worked. Ella trabajó. Ella trabajó. She worked. Ella trabajó. We worked. ¿Cómo se dice we worked? Nosotros trabajamos. Nosotros trabajamos. O simplemente trabajamos. They worked. ¿Cómo se dice they worked? Ellos trabajaron. Ellos trabajaron. They worked. If you want to ask the question, did you work yesterday? Ayer is yesterday. And just something to note, whenever you hear Spanish speakers use the word ayer, you're probably going to hear the preterite with it, because that's an expression that marks the past, and we use it when we talk about the past and with the preterite. So the question here, did you work? Remember, you don't conjugate the did, because that's part of the emphatic do in English when we ask questions. We literally have to say in Spanish, worked you, worked you. ¿Trabajaste ayer? ¿Trabajaste ayer? Did you work yesterday? ¿Trabajaste ayer? Okay, a different verb, comer. ¿Cómo se dice she ate? It's irregular in English. We don't say eated, we say ate. Ella comió. Ella comió. She ate. Ella comió. I ate. Yo comí. Yo comí. O simplemente comí. We ate. ¿Cómo se dice? We ate. Nosotros comimos. Nosotros comimos. We ate. He ate. Él comió. Él comió. You ate. Usted comió. Usted comió. You ate. They ate. Ellas comieron. Ellas comieron. A different verb, escribir, to write. You wrote. Tú escribiste. Tú escribiste. I wrote. Yo escribí. Yo escribí. She wrote. Ella escribió. Ella escribió. We wrote. Nosotros escribimos. Nosotros escribimos. They wrote. I'm sorry, you wrote. Ustedes escribieron. Ustedes escribieron. They wrote. Ellas escribieron. Ellas escribieron. Remember, memorize those endings and then open up your suitcase full of infinitives and you can say all kinds of things in Spanish in the preterite verb tense. That's it for this video. Adios. Ciao.